We have actually seen the mysterious light from the building that is calling to Balin, or at least something very similar. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. The force that is calling to Balin has been described as a place of dreams and madness, the very description of the world of Peridea itself. Initially, many theorized that it was actually Abeloth that was calling to Balin due to his relationship to the ones of Mortis. In the finale, in the final scene with Balin's skull, this was all but confirmed, as Balin was standing atop a statue of the Father, pointing of course to this mysterious location with a beacon upon it. Upon first glance, this building is extremely mysterious. However, we have actually seen it before and had this mysterious light called to other force wielders. And previously, this same structure had a deep connection to the ones of Mortis, especially the Father. In the Clone Wars arc, Anakin learned that the Father resided within a monastery on Mortis, one that he himself had presumably constructed, where he presided over his children as well as the very world itself. It was located atop a rocky spire, with a glowing crystal embedded within a pinnacle, casting a dim light for miles around in every single direction. When Anakin entered the monastery, the rooms changed and altered at random. Sometimes there were sleeping chambers and meditation rooms, and then they would ultimately transform into cavernous halls. The outside was also marked with mysterious creatures that symbolized the light and the dark, as well as creatures from our own world such as a wolf, a snake, and a bird. This very structure that is calling to Balin is the monastery of Peridea, and the light atop the structure is likely another crystal just as it was on Mortis. The very monastery itself is incredibly powerful with both the light and the dark side of the Force, representative of the Father himself in balance. And it was from here where the Father oversaw the aspects of the Force, trying to keep them at bay, trying to keep the insane power of the Sun and the dark side from destroying the light in the daughter, but also ensuring that the daughter herself didn't grow to be too powerful. But what's even more interesting about this imagery, and this light atop a spire calling to Balin's skull, as we've also seen extremely similar imagery from Colin Trevorrow's Duel of Fates episode 9. In that script and through concept art, it was going to be revealed that there was something calling to Kylo Ren on a mysterious ancient Sith world, where there was a now partially destroyed Sith temple. In the very concept art, you can actually see the light that is calling out to Kylo, beckoning him to come learn of their knowledge. In again that cancelled script, it was going to be revealed that there was an entity calling out to Kylo Ren known as tmarvelouswave, and it would later be revealed that tmarvelouswave was once the master of Darth Plagueis the Wise, and that he had been an ancient Sith Lord residing on this mysterious world for some time, biding his time and power. Eventually though, Kylo Ren would have destroyed this ancient Sith Lord and ascended as a full Sith himself. The point is though, originally there was a force that was calling to Kylo Ren in the original episode 9 concept, and just as Anakin Skywalker was attracted to the monastery on Mortis where he found the Father and balance, so too is Balin here. It's clear that there's something very important on the monastery of Peridea that is calling to Balin, but of course it could not be the ones themselves. The Father and the daughter were killed by the dagger of Mortis, and once the Father sacrificed himself and stabbed himself with the very blade, the Son therefore lost all of his power and made him vulnerable, allowing Anakin Skywalker to stab him and kill him with his very lightsaber. The point is, it is now extremely unlikely that it is actually any of the ones that is calling to Balin. Although some have theorized that Anakin now represents the Father and balance, and Ahsoka represents as a Jedi Ronin and an avatar of light, we now need somebody to embody the idea of the Sun and the dark side, and that this mysterious force that calls to Balin could actually be his destiny to represent the dark side itself. Of course though, the more prominent theory is that it is actually Abeloth that is locked away in a sort of prison, and the Father pointing to Abeloth is foreshadowing the darkness that lies there, telling travelers to avoid it. It's extremely important that many of the episodes were titled Dreams and Madness. Abeloth is famous for driving individuals insane that could touch the Force, and although it didn't happen overnight, she would eventually consume their very souls and control their bodies. In Legends, Abeloth was locked away in a place known as the Maw, in between two black holes, and every several centuries, when she threatened to escape the Maw, the Son and the daughter would venture there in order to rebind her loosening chains. Now though that the ones of Mortis have been gone for some time, and the galaxy is at peace, perhaps some message has made its way to Balin's skull, beckoning him to come to Peridia and to end the cycle of violence by offering him a power that no one really truly understands. Something that we know for sure though, is although the ones may have originated from Peridia, they too eventually fled, just as the Night Sisters are in the Ahsoka finale, trying to distance themselves from Abeloth. Abeloth, who notoriously has killed various planets with her own presence and insanity. In Legends continuity, essentially turning Coruscant with her insane ability to wield the Force. Something else that not a lot of people have pointed out is that Abeloth promises what Balin Skull ultimately wants. In Legends, it was Abeloth's plan to bring about an apocalyptic event, something similar to Ragnarok as Balin's own character represents. This would allow her to destroy all living life in the known galaxy, and then recreate the galaxy in her own image. The thing that really motivated Abeloth was her loneliness. However, she was simply too insane to be able to live in the galaxy of not her own creation, and only believed that if she could manipulate the galaxy exactly how she wanted to, that she would ever find peace. Abeloth was born out of a fear of loneliness, as she was once immortal and eventually grew old, faced with the idea that the father, the son, and the daughter would live far beyond her and would eventually forget her. It was this that motivated Abeloth to embrace both the dark and the light side nexuses on Mortis, but where she believed she would achieve balance, it very much created the anti-force. Abeloth herself was a pure abomination of both sides, two things that were never meant to mix. Abeloth is a corrupted mirror of the Force, a corrupted version of the Father, the literal definition of a false balance that Balin himself seeks. Whether or not the Queen of the Stars is actually at this monastery in Peridia is currently unknown, or it could potentially just be the next step in Balin's long journey. Nonetheless, since we've seen this on Mortis, we can only assume that the Father himself is also the constructor of the Peridia monastery, and that it operates in a similar way to his home on Mortis. Balin's comment about the Jedi Order and how they grew weak, but that he ultimately liked the idea of what they stood for, is extremely compelling, and speaks to the melding of the light side of the Force as a virtuous warrior, and the dark side in order to use that power to continue to protect the galaxy and the ones in need. Balin is seeking a balance in the Force just like the Father. However, I believe what waits for him on Peridia is much more sinister. But anyway guys, what are your thoughts on the Monastery of Peridia and the Monastery of Mortis? What is Balin's ultimate goal? And does he seek balance, or simply serve a higher power than himself? As always my friends, thank you so much for visiting the channel today, and may the Force be with you.